Good day. My name is Isak van Niekerk from the RIB Candy offices in Cape Town, and I'm involved with the testing and training and user support for Candy software. Today, we are looking at the broken tooth progress report function as found in Candy. First, we will explain what the broken tooth progress report is and why it's called a broken tooth. Then we'll look at the basics of the broken tooth, how to define and allocate required codes to display the broken tooth on the screen. Once on the screen, we will show you how to interpret the analysis displayed and what each item means. Then we'll end off with showing the broken tooth reports or printing hard copies of what you've seen on the screen. Note, today's presentation is recorded and you will receive a link to download it. There are regular webinars on various Candy topics, and should you not be able to attend a webinar at a given time frame, then please still register for the webinar, as this will entitle you to receive a link to a recorded copy of the webinar. As this webinar is pre-recorded, we will not be able to answer any questions during the webinar. Please email any questions that you might have to your local RIB Candy offices. We will then collate these questions and send the answers to everybody that registered for this webinar via email. Let's look at what is a broken tooth progress report. It's a document that displays the progress of a program, or more correctly, a portion of a program, in a matrix type format. This document is suited for reporting progress for a portion of a program which consists of several repeated activities through a series of units. For example, the wet trades and finishes activities per unit for a housing or apartments project, or the fixtures, furniture and equipment installation, also referred to as the FF&E installation per hotel room for a hotel project. Let's look at the result for a better understanding of the purpose of this progress report. On the screen currently is a printout of a broken tooth progress report for a hotel project, focusing on the progress of the trades per room or unit. The trades are displayed on the horizontal axis with the units on the vertical axis. The progress status of the trades per specific room or unit is displayed on the intersection of the relevant row and column. As you can see, this report is suited for a portion of the program where a lot of the same repetitive activities are programmed for several units. This document or report displays the progress report result after you've done the normal update per activities on the bar chart. The advantage of this document is that all information is reduced to a more compact report compared to the traditional bar chart that will usually run over several pages or screen displays. This document will highlight the progress per trade per unit. For example, the trade ceiling grid work for unit G11 is not completed yet. It has 1 day remaining and is behind program and affecting the critical path. For unit G17, the glass dividing walls has not commenced yet, but some of the successor activities are already complete, an indication that some of the work commenced out of sequence to minimize the delay. You can also see that the ceiling trades, which is on a critical path in unit G11, has also been delayed. Notice that the bedroom platform installation, only available for the penthouse rooms, is not applicable in the ground floor rooms and therefore grayed out. As you can see, a whole lot of progress information as well as the related influence on the critical path can be displayed on this document. But let us first give the answer to the question that most of you would probably want to know. Why is it called a broken tooth progress analysis report? What is the first two things you notice on these two pictures? You immediately notice the missing tooth of each of the gentlemen. However, did you notice the extra arm for the lady on the left, or the 6 fingers on the lady on the right hand? On this slide, again, the first thing you notice is the missing tooth for both gentlemen. The fact that the gentleman on the left is missing an ear and the gentleman on the right is missing his eyebrows is only noticed when you had time to study the picture for a second or two. Now, let us look at the broken tooth report for update 3 of this hotel project. What is the first thing you notice? For unit G11, the installation of the ceiling grid has not commenced and is behind schedule with a possible influence on its successors as well as the critical path. For unit G17, the glass dividing ball has not commenced. However, there is still float on the program for this activity. So the first thing you notice are the exceptions or delays, and that is why the name Broken Tooth Progress Report was thought to be appropriate. Now let us compare this to the normal progress bar chart report, where you have several pages to go through and where the progress status is not so clearly noticeable. As you can see, the Broken Tooth report is a much better option in this case. Take note that the Broken Tooth progress analysis function is suited for projects where there are a lot of the same repetitive activities per unit for several units, and it's not suited for all projects. To use the Broken Tooth analysis report, the following are required. First, we need to define the X-axis codes as well as the Y-axis codes. Then the related X-axis code and Y-axis code must then be allocated to the relevant activities. And to see the actual result of the report on the screen or in the printout, there need to be progress on the program. Right, let's open up Candy and look at the hotel program. Here we have a hotel program, and our focus is on the actual units. So the information for the main structure and the entrances and everything, and the normal construction has been removed for illustration purposes. First, we need to go to definitions by selecting the main menu, definitions and settings. Scroll down to section 3, Broken Tooth definitions. You can enter the codes for the X-axis at 3.11. If you know the code, you can enter it. And the same with the Y-axis codes. Both codes are required. Usually the trades will be defined on the horizontal axis, which is the X-axis, and the units on the vertical axis. A fast way to enter the codes is to import it from an Excel file. Let's show you how to do that. First, let's look at the trade codes first, the X-axis. Now, easy way to do that is to go and close the program to the level of the units. In this case, I know it's level 6. So click on View, View Level, close to level 6. Right, I also know that there are extra trades in the penthouse on level 5, all the penthouse rooms. So I would like to copy those trades from Candy into Excel. So scroll down until you see the penthouse. Open up one of the penthouse units so you can see all the trades. Select the first trade, in this case prep soffit. Hold your shift button in and select the last trades, which is snag and desnag. The additional item that I know that's in here is this construct bedroom platform that is not in the ground floors to level and up to level 4. Right, now that I've got all the trades selected that I want to use in my definitions, I would right click and copy. Now it's on the Windows clipboard. Open up Excel and open up a blank book in Excel. Go to your first column and cell and paste it. And there is all the trades for that room. Right, select all the columns and double click to format the column width in Excel. Remove the columns no longer required. Delete them, like the activity number as well as the duration columns, so that you're only left with the actual trades. Right, type in T001 for the first trade, T002 for the next trade, and a fast way to repeat the codes is to select them, go to the bottom left hand corner and double click, and Excel will allocate the rest of the codes in sequence up to T034. So there's 34 trades in this room. Right click on the sheet, rename it trades and this will be on the x-axis, so just remind yourself by putting in X. Go back to Candy, and now we want to get the units from Candy into Excel file. So again, close all the units so that you've only got the levels on the screen, the units on the screen. Everything is closed, there's no extra trades open. Right, let's select the ground floor units. Right down to the bottom. Scroll to the bottom until you see the last unit. Shift click to select that. Right click and copy. Now let's open up Excel again. Add another sheet. Select there on the top. And paste the information in. Right, we can remove this column. And we can remove the numbers column. However, keep the level column for the moment. Right, we can double click and we can see the unit description column. Select column A, which has got the levels in. Go to the editing tab. Choose filter, select filter. Now you will see the filter is available in column A. Click on the filter available and then untick the level 6s so that on the screen you've got left all the level 4s and 5s which you do not want. Right, select the full screen, choose find and select, choose go to special, select visible cells only and say OK. And only the visible cells currently on the sheet would be selected. Then go to the cells menu, select the delete and delete the cells, which basically will delete all the visible cells and leave you with level 6s, the units. Okay, so now you might have to go and manually remove things that's no longer required, like in this case that unit shell construction and section details are not required. Let's delete that manually. The same goes for the level 2s. Level 3. And level 4. As well as level 5. Okay, so on the screen is only our units, and to double check that it's only the units, we can now double click on the column width and it will now close down and the long descriptions will no longer be available. Let's start with allocating the numbers. So we'll have UG01 for that one, UG02. Okay. Then we can highlight those, drag it down until we see unit G42. Right, then we start with unit 101, unit 102. And notice Excel then realize what you want to do and give you in gray the rest of the unit numbers in sequence. So all you need to do is just press enter and then double check that Excel has done it correctly. So yes, it's changed when the levels changed to level 3, 2 and 3, it changed correctly. So a fast way to allocate that units, there's 42 units all been allocated. Rename that and call that units. units, and that's the y-axis. And save the file. Right, let's go back to Candy. We now want to import the Excel file into Candy, into the definitions. So let's open up the definitions and settings. Click on the main menu, definitions and settings. Scroll down until you see the X-axis. That's 3.11. Click on the document to activate and select the import codes button. That will open up Windows Explorer. Browse until you find the Excel file. Select the Excel file and choose Open. Excel will open, but because there's two worksheets, you need to choose which worksheet. So as we want to bring in the X-axis or the trades, we're going to choose the default that's currently available, Trades. Say OK, and Excel import document opens up. We now need to identify each column to tell Excel exactly where to put the information. Select the first column as description, and this would be the code column. Let's click on continue, and all the codes are imported. Now select 3.12, the y-axis codes. Activate the document. Select import codes. Select Excel file with the codes again. Open that. But this time we want the y-axis, so we'll click the drop-down menu to display the second sheet available in that's Excel file. Select the units. Say OK. And now we're going to skip this column, so we're going to make this ignore. We're going to replace that with the description instead of the unit. And now this last column will be the code. Okay. Select continue. And the units are imported. You can now label the X-axis and the Y-axis. To activate again the X-axis, go to the top there, and let's make that trades, and let's make the Y-axis units. Once you've done that, say OK, and the definitions are saved. Now that we define the codes, we obviously need to allocate the codes to the relevant activities. To do that, we're going to create a special document. So go to the document manager. Let's go and create a new bar chart from the template. So click on new document. Select number 1 bar chart, 1.1 standard bar chart, and edit it for yourself with the description with broken 2 for BT codes. Once you've renamed it, click on Customize. Opens up the column layout. Select Activity Codes, section Activity Codes. Open that up. Select 8.13 broken tooth access codes. Also add the code name, broken tooth y-axis code, and the broken tooth y-axis code name. Say OK. Double click to open the document. Let's get rid of the legend for now. And we want to see everything, so the shortcut that we want to use is Control Spacebar, and that will open up everything. Right, we can close the relevant headings that we do not want. Okay, and just get down to the units that we want. So let's first allocate the unit code, and there's a couple of ways of doing it. You've got, first method is to just go into the relevant column in line with the activity, double click, we'll bring up the definitions, in this case the y-axis code definitions, select the definition required and confirm the green tick, and it will appear. If there's a lot that been allocated the same code, in this case every unit will have the same unit code for all the activities, you can go and select the first section of the activities, hold your shift button in, select the last lot of the activities for that specific unit, right click on the selection, code allocation, select broken tooth units codes and allocate. Select the code that you want, confirm the green tick, and it's allocated. Another method to allocate, let's do it with unit 2, is to select the first activities code, so in this case unit GO2 or UGO2, confirm, click below it, hold your control button in and press J for Juliet, and every time you press Ctrl J it will copy the line above and move to the next line, and so you can fill up all the code. You can also make use of macro keys. Okay, macro keys can be found in the system settings under number 10, macro keys, and at the moment no macro keys has been defined. Macro keys is actually a recording of keystrokes, so this is how it would work. Okay, so again we're going to first select, in this case, unit 3, and now we're going to record the macro keys. Okay, so what we're going to do, we place our cursor below the unit 3, we press Ctrl 1. That will ask us, do you want to record a macro? You say yes. You can rename the macro if you want to. We're not going to do that. We're going to just press start recording. Then you'll press Ctrl J, Ctrl J, Ctrl J, Ctrl J, and every time you press Ctrl J, that keystroke is recorded until you get there. And I will press one more, and then you say stop the recording. So now it tells you the macro key sequence is recorded, and you must press Ctrl 1 to play back the sequence. Say OK. And now what you do, because this is number 4, you just overtype the 3 with the 4 and delete the 3, which goes and fetch the code. Your key is now under section 4. Let's scroll a bit down so you can see what happens. Put your cursor there, and then you can press Ctrl 1 on your keyboard, and magically the computer will fill that in. So then you get to unit G5. Change the 4 to a 5, delete the 4, put your cursor below, Ctrl 1 again, and the computer automatically does the work for you. Scroll down for 6, place the 5 with a 6, delete that, put your cursor below, press Ctrl 1. And so you will repeat for all the units. Now we're not going to make you suffer and look for all the units, because if you can recall from the definitions and settings, you've got 252 units, so we will be here for quite a while. The magic of video editing, we'll later show you where all the units as well as the trades has been allocated. Right, let's go and look at how to allocate the trades, another way to allocate the trades. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, okay, the trades, the prep software is repeated in all the units. So we're going to start using filters. So select and swipe prep software, right click on that, filter on fragment, so the filter box comes up, reduce by keeping, and the words that you swiped is in there, in this case prep software. Confirm the filter with a green tick, and all the prep software items are there. You can hide the headers if you want to. Okay. And you see it's found the 252 prep activities because there's 252 units. Click the select button, right click on a selection, code allocation. This time we're going to select broken tooth trades, select allocate, and from the list we will highlight T001, click on the green tick, confirm, and it's allocated. Abandon the filter. Obviously you're going to do the same with skim soffits. Filter on fragment, confirm, select, right click, code allocation, broken tooth trades, allocate, this time a skim soffit, T002, confirm, and it's allocated. Okay, put your cursor there, abandon the filter, go to the next. First fix to walls and shower floor. Right click, filter, confirm, select, right click, code allocation, trades, allocate. First fix to wall and shower T003, confirm, and it's allocated. Again, we're not going to make you suffer through 252 allocations for, in this case, 34 trades. We will just use the magic of video editing and show you the final result. Here is the program with all the codes, trade codes as well as unit codes allocated to all the relevant activities. Recommend that you check your codes as you allocate them, as the process, depending on how many activities or units you have to allocate, can become quite boring and it's easy to make mistakes. But once it's done, we can check the document now that we're going to use for the broken tooth editor. So let's add that to the screen. Select the document manager, open up number 5 progress, place your cursor on the last document, select the new document template tab, select number 5 progress, choose the last option there, 5.6 broken tooth editor. Once it's on the document manager, click on select. The program will analyze all the activities on the Y and X axes and then produce the matrix document as you can see it there. But obviously inside the cells there's nothing yet because there's no progress on this program. Now let us look at a sample where the broken tooth codes are actually used inside a updated program to produce a broken tooth matrix document. So we went back to the program manager, we took the program that we've now coded, we've duplicated it already for you to save time, rename it, called it update 1, and now we're going to select it. Once selected, because we want progress, we click on the document manager, select number 5 progress, open that up, select number 5.1 progress bar chart, open that up and move to the top. Then we select update, record time now, and we select the update date. In this case we're going to select Friday the 2nd of November 2029. Say OK, and because it's the first time we update this program, it asks if the program in the background is ready to be saved as a base program, and we say yes, and the base program gets saved in the background. Let's go and look at the base program. So click on progress, Select the option Show Base Bars, and you can see the blue base bars in the background. As there's a lot of activities in here, if you recall, there's 34 activities per unit. There's 250 units. It's about 8,500 activities just in the units. We now obviously don't want to scroll up and down, so we're going to use a progress filter to highlight only the things that we want to update. Select View, select Filter, select Progress Filters, and choose Rolling Horizon of 10 day. Now what that means, it means that you're going to have a section of 10 days from now, the time now date, forwards. So around about the 16th of November, if you look on the calendar, and a line is going to be drawn right through the program, and only things to the left of the line would be filtered out, and things that's on the right hand side of the line that still has to happen after the 16th of November will not be part of the filter. Right, so we've now got 1,025 instead of 8,000. Now that's still a lot that we need to update. So we're going to make use of a tool that's available in Candy to update things very quickly. So what you can do is you can select the filtered items, right click on the selection, choose Progress, choose Update as Predicted. Now that means the activities progressed as you predicted the last time. So for this first update, the activity started and progressed as scheduled, and then you only need to concentrate and adjust those activities that did not progress as scheduled, instead of going through every single one. You get asked, do you need to update each activity in the position it was before time now moved? Confirm, and once the computer's finished, it will populate the actual starts and finish dates, and if there's activities in progress, they will also be populated remaining durations. Let's keep that filter for the moment. Let's go, for instance, to let's just close the ones that we're not interested now. We say that is fine, and the shell close that. Now you can go through and adjust the actual starts and finish as predicted by the computer to what was really happening on site. So for example, let's say this glass wall installation has not commenced at all. You can just go and delete the start date, and that will also take the finish date out. Let's say the fire stopping has started, but it's not completed. There was a delay. So there's a 1 day remaining. Let's say the board of walls there has not commenced either. But the other thing started. The construct shower base is also not commenced yet. As you can see, you will then update what you want to do, and once you finish, you say calculate. It will move things out, and you might also want to relink your activities. So let's say you cannot start the ceiling grid before all the walls and the tape joints and everything is complete, and we will link that as maybe we need a 1 day lag. Right, we need a 1 day lag. Confirm, recalculate. You need to adjust all the activities as things happen on site. So there might be activities that did commence as predicted, and there might be activities that's behind or even ahead of schedule. Once you finish, you press your calculate button and see the result. We can abandon the filter. We can now go to Document Manager, go to Section 5 Progress, and now look at the Broken Tooth Editor to see the result. Computer will analyze that. As there are a lot of activities, it might take a while. And there is your progress as displayed currently. Now there you can see your fire stopping. There's 1 day remaining. And it's what we can do here, you can say no, it's actually 2 days remaining. So you can overtype the 1 with 2, recalculate. Keep in mind there's no float displayed on the broken tooth, only remaining duration. But we can see the changes on the actual bar chart based on the remaining duration that you entered. As you can see, it takes quite a while, especially if you've got a big program, so be patient. And it's reanalyzing again. Okay. So we changed the unit G01, fire stopping to 2 days remaining, go back to the program. Before I activate it, notice 1 day remaining, but if I activate it, 2 days remaining, and the program is moved out. Once we have updated the program, including the broken tooth analysis report, we can print out a hard copy of this broken tooth analysis matrix document. In this example, we are going to look at update 3 of this hotel project, which has already been updated and adjusted to reflect the as-built scenario on site. So here now we have the hotel project update 3. We've done our progress update, so let's go and look at the progress bar chart. There we can see it looks a bit more realistic compared back to the base program. So let's click on progress, show base bars. We can see that the ceiling grid here in unit G11 is really fall behind. It's 1 day remaining, and it's causing the items to be delayed. Should we want to see the delay, we can actually see by adding the float column. So click on float, select float, say OK, and we can see it's 2 days delay. We can also see the history of the progress here. Click on progress and show snapshots, and also show the base bars. So now we can see that during the update of this ending the 16th of November, work was done, but in this last update, no ceiling grid work was done. If you untick the show snapshots, it will just show it as one continuous bar. Now that we see that on the screen, we want to now look at the broken tooth analysis report. So broken tooth, first let's go and look at the broken tooth editor. Select that, give the computer a chance to analyze and update that broken tooth. Right, and as you can see, G11, we've got here the ceiling grid work, 1 day remaining. Notice again, or just a reminder, that is not the float, that's the 1 day remaining. Remember, the float is -2. You can also see the successor activities. It's overrunning. The second fix to the ceilings in G11 is overrunning. It's not started. So there's all the information available for us. Let's now go and print it out, a hard copy. So let's clear the screen of all our documents. Let's go to the report manager, open up the bar chart section, put our cursor on the bar chart so we can create a new document below it. So click on new reports, number 10 broken tooth, 10.1 broken tooth analysis. Customize that, and we suggest you add the legend so that people understand what they're looking at. So click on legend. Right, we want that on all pages. We want it as a strip below and make sure that is ticked on so that they can see the legend. We will also recommend that you say fit to page width. You can then decide if you want to see it as portrait or landscape. And once you've done that, let's go and look at it by previewing the report. Okay, preview. The analysis is done. And the report is displayed. You can zoom in and see the result. Let's change that to a landscape so that we can explain the actual legend a bit better. So let's change it to landscape. Say OK, preview that. And there is our report in landscape. And now let's look at the legend and exactly what it means. This indicates an overrun and that the activity has not started. So the activity has not started and is delayed on a critical path. Therefore, it will have a negative float if looked on the bar chart. This indicates that the activity has started but is not complete and is behind schedule. The value displays indicates the remaining duration in work days. So this activity overruns on a critical path and therefore there would be negative float on the bar chart. This indicates that the activity has not started as per the base program, but it does not influence the critical path as the activity still has float. This indicates that the activity is incomplete, so it has started, but it's not completed according to the base program finish date, but the activity still has float. And the value that you see displayed is the remaining duration and work days to complete the activity. The green obviously indicates the activity is completed. The gray will indicate that this trade is currently not available in the unit displayed on the screen at the moment. As we came to the end of the webinar, we want to remind you of the Help Center available in the software, where you can search for and find more information on various topics of Candy. Previous webinar recordings that you might have missed is also available in this Help Center. The Help Center menu or button is available on the top of right-hand corner of the screen, just below the version number. When you click this, it will open the Help Center website, and just use the search facility available to type in a topic of interest to display the notes and even possible webinars about the topic. As a reminder, we offer online as well as in-person training courses from basic to advanced. We also offer consulting on specific functionality and features within Candy to get your team equipped to get the best out of Candy. We host in-person and virtual seminars focused on various topics to assist in using Candy to its fullest potential. Regular webinars on various topics are also scheduled. Product advice and telephonic supports are also available. Please contact your local RIP Candy offices for more information. Keep in touch with our latest news, announcements and upcoming events by following us on our social pages. Search for RIB Software on Facebook and LinkedIn, or scan the relevant QR code currently available on the screen to stay connected. We hope you enjoyed this webinar and found it insightful. Should you require any further information, kindly contact your local RIB Candy offices. Thank you for attending and enjoy your day.